So good evening, everyone. Welcome to our third week of Tuesday interviews here on Ontario Wrestling Instagram Live. This is a weekly Instagram interview segment where we talk to some of Canada's best wrestlers, featuring some of our Canadian Olympic trials winners. Our hope is to share what some of Canada's elite wrestlers are doing during this time of a global pandemic and to try to encourage athletes of all levels on their journey. My name is Emily Ling. Probably most of you know me as Emily Schaefer, my maiden name. For those of you that don't, I am currently a development coach for the Hamilton Wrestling Club. I wrestled for 10 years, most of which was at Brock University, and then I retired after the 2019 Olympic trials. And I was lucky enough to train with tonight's guest for nearly 6 years. Please feel free to comment your questions and we'll try to get to them at the end. And definitely try to make this as interactive as possible. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you.
This is Michelle Fazzari, everyone. For those of you that don't know her, she's a highly accomplished wrestler. She was the 2014 Pan American champion. She competed at the Pan American Games in 2015, which was 3 weeks after surgery.
2.
2 weeks after a knee surgery.
That was stupid. Don't do that.
She was the 2016 Olympian, 2017 World Bronze medalist, the 2018 Commonwealth Games silver medalist, which probably should have been gold, but we'll get to that later. And the 2019 Olympic trials winner, currently working towards qualifying for the 2021 Olympics.
Yeah.
That's a lot, Michelle. And that's not even all of it. When I asked Michelle for her accomplishments, she said the greatest was being my friend, and second was being a cat mom.
Actually, I think I said cat mom first, and then you said next thing, and I said, you.
Michelle, I can't be second to cats.
Oh, and CJ's right here.
Yeah, nice try.
CJ knows that Michelle and I's bond goes deeper.
ML.
I do now.
He knows.
So, Michelle, what got you into the sport of wrestling?
I always knew. No, I'm just kidding. It was a dare. I had no idea about wrestling. I was 16 and I just had stopped speed skating. Wasn't really into it. My dad wanted to put me into it. I really wanted to do like figure skating or hockey or like soccer. And he said no to all those and he vetoed them. We went away every summer, so it was hard to do. Like I didn't grow up playing sports. Like we would like go outside and I'd play with my cousins. Like I have a ton of cousins. So we'd go outside and play, but I never played like organized sport besides speed skating. Because we went away every summer. So my dad knew. He's like trick your sister and your brother into joining soccer or whatever the summer, and we'll stay. We won't go anywhere in the summer. But like he clearly knew that they weren't down for it and I was the only one. So he's like, yeah, for sure. Just tell them they can do it and we'll go. And then no one wanted to do it. So I would go camping. We'd play a bunch of sports. And one thing we actually did is we draw a circle in the sand. And my cousins were really into wrestling. And we would just play like pushing each other out. And they'd play like, it was WWF or WWE now. And we'd play that. And it was just fun. But I didn't really grow up playing a ton of organized sports. We just made up our own games and played soccer outside. So yeah, based on a dare at Cougar High School, that's how it started.
And when do you think you really started taking wrestling seriously?
Well, most people know that Mickey Calder, Marty's twin brother, was my coach, and Bobby Woodcroft. So Mickey told me, he's like, why don't you start taking it seriously? And I was like, I did that with speed skating and it wasn't fun. So I'm like, I think I'm just going to play around for a year or two and figure it out. So I honestly didn't start taking it super seriously until first year university. But I just didn't know what taking a sport seriously was. Like, I thought, like I'd go to a couple practices a week and yeah, so.
A couple practices a week.
And that was it. But I didn't know, you only know what you're exposed to. And I wasn't exposed to much. So it wasn't until I went to Brock Wrestling Room that I was exposed to, like, training twice a day. I remember just sleeping, like I'd go to train and then I wasn't used to even training that hard in the morning, and I'd sleep all day and then I'd go to training at night and I was so exhausted.
I feel like that still resembles some of your schedule now, unless you're teaching.
Yeah. It was, yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have I wasn't always carded. So I always have to work a lot, and then I got carded, but I would be putting in like between 40 and 60 hours a week and working, and then training on top of that. That sucks. Yeah. I don't want to do that again.
But impressive that you managed to be able to do that. In that first year of wrestling, even in university, do you think you were able, like, did you see yourself being an Olympian?
That was like, it was weird because everyone always asked me that question at the beginning, and they're like, oh, like Olympics. And I was like, I'm just trying to make a senior national team over here. And it was like, oh, I always saw, and not that I didn't have this big goal and aspiration, but I always saw like one thing at a time. Like I came from Cayuga Secondary. It's a town of 2,000 people. And my biggest goal when I got to the room was survive a practice, like try and take this person down. And I just like made these small goals for myself every practice. I didn't share them with anyone. Wouldn't even tell the coach that. But I remember the first year, like I was a rookie and our team was pretty deep at the time. Like, oh, not at the time, it is deep now. But my weight class, like there was 6 or so people ahead of me and by far. And I remember sitting in the circle and they're like, hey, what are your goals? I'm like, I want to win OUs. And like they all like, everyone looked at me like, who is this girl? And I was like, oh, goals, stay to yourself from now on. And then I did, and I just move on. I just kept chipping away at it. But it's just, I was like always an aspiration. You think about it. And I didn't start probably really working towards it until like a few years into university that I was like, yeah, this is where I want to go.
So 2012, you went as a training partner for Tanya. And then 2015, you made it to the Olympics. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience and what it was like?
That was like the turning point. Like I was like, yeah, Olympics. But then 2012, I went there, and I remember like I had a blast. Being a training partner, if you get a chance to do it, is so much fun. You get to like enjoy the Olympics on a different note. And it is like, I've been to both training partner Olympics, and it's night and day, and both very enjoyable, but in different ways. And it's so much fun. I had an awesome time, and I was like so thankful Tanya brought me. And I remember going there, like to the Olympic venue. Tanya was warming up, like getting ready for the Olympics. I saw Tanya go through so much, and I was like, oh, this looks stressful. But then I went there, and I remember like just another tournament, and I can do this. So I remember looking around, I'm like, I beat that person, and I beat that person. I lost to that person, but it was pretty close, and I believe that I can do that. And I just remember looking around and being like, I'm going to be here in 4 years. I 100% believe in myself. So that was a big turning point for me, and seeing Spice Girls live.
So can we talk about how maybe like, do you think that setting those small goals every day in practice to bigger goals throughout like a year made it so that it was possible for you to achieve like those like humongous goals of making it to the Olympics?
Yeah, for sure. You got like every day you think of goals. Like even, I know this is like a really weird time for everyone, but you have to set goals. And it's got to be like, hey, maybe it's not picking up that donut today, but it has to be like, and it's just like, let's be real here. Like, it's like, let's make the healthy food choices. It's going to bed at a decent time. Like those goals count. Like whether you're going out to see your friends at night or staying home, and you have to make those small little goals matter because they all end up getting you to that big goal. So yeah, I have to make small goals, and I have to make long-term goals too. But those small goals, like they matter. They matter a lot.
So
eat donuts. That's what my sister said. Yes, Steph.
At what point do you think you decided to pursue?
Hang on, Javon said pick up the donut. Not before the competition. Treat yourself, okay? Javon's telling all my dirty secrets. Jeez, what's wrong with you? I am a foodie, okay? Everyone knows that.
Everybody.
Yeah.
At what point do you think you decided to pursue the Olympics for the second time?
That's so it was after 2016. It's kind of a journey because I've always taken it like Javon's laughing at me. I've always taken like wrestling for as much as I love it, I'll do it until I don't have that passion. And after 2016, those 3 months after it, like I remember Marty going, he was like, yeah, so we're going to Azerbaijan. And I was like, I just competed at Olympic Games a month ago. Like, when is this? He's like, next month. You gonna be ready? And I was like, no, like not even close. Mentally, I was just like, what is like, no. He's like, he's like, I want you to be there, whatever. And I was like, I'm not ready. So I took some time off and I just wanted to like decide if I wanted to go back. And to be honest, like my kind of just was like, okay, if teaching works out or that life path works out, I'll do that or this. Like I kept my options open. So I didn't feel like I was forced to keep wrestling or forced to go to work. And I didn't want my life to be that way. I wanted to be chosen based on passion. So I let kind of like what I was feeling guide me to that direction. And it ended up being like, remember Guelph was happening. I just got back on the mats and I was like not in shape. And I was like, this is not for me. I'm not having fun. I've got to cut weight. I ate too many donuts. And then I was like, no. And I just remember texting for me. I'm not having fun. So I went back and I was like, Grand Prix in Barcelona, that's going to be the tournament I go to. And Marty's like, no one wrestled. No, it wasn't Barcelona. It was Paris. He's like, no one wrestles Paris your first tournament back. Like, you haven't wrestled in like 5 months. And I was like, whatever, who cares? I lose, who cares? I win, great. And I went there, and it wasn't that I won the tournament. It was how free I felt on the mats. It's like, I chose to be here. Nothing made me be here but myself, and I only wrestle for myself. So I went out there, and I had just so much fun. And I was like, this is great. Get to eat good food in Paris. And Braxton and I were there for like the longest time. So we sat, ate food, trained, and I was like, I love my life. So then I just kept wrestling, and I was like, I had so much fun at that tournament. I couldn't wait to the next one. And then I was the next one after that. And then 2018 happened, and well, here we are. And that was a big injury. And you have to really be like, hey, do I want to recover from it? Like, this is a career-ending injury. And I was like, it's just every day I woke up and just kept going towards it. I'm like, I guess I'm doing it. So, and I had no idea. Like some days I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to do it. And then other days, I think always deep down, I think I knew, but I don't know. I think I told Marty like 10 times in one day, I'm like, I think I quit. Like, this is too hard. I can't even walk up a step. So I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, it's just, it's kind of been like my passion. It's always just driven me.
Honestly, I feel like you just radiate that passion sometimes. Like, you are somebody who makes wrestling fun, even when it's the hardest practice ever. And I got to experience that a lot because we've been on a lot of trips together. One of which was the Commonwealth Games. So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit next. So the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Australia. Super cool experience for the most part. And I think both of us, we had plans afterwards. We're going to travel around Australia and do all the cool things, like try to surf and whatnot. That didn't happen.
We had plans to sand surf, to water surf, to actually walk. Walk around a couple beaches, you know. We had plans. We were staying longer. Yeah, we had big plans.
So what ended up happening is I wrestled the day before you. And in my second match, I dislocated my collarbone. And then
did.
Which was like, whatever. We could have still done some of the things. But then you had to go the next day in the finals. And I would say your knee wasn't great leading up to it. But in the finals, that match, something happened.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Okay. So there's a bit of a backstory. Because what I'm going to tell you, if you just ask me what happened in the finals, I'm like, well, the first 5 seconds, my knee got stuck. And I was like, that doesn't feel good. And then within 5 seconds after that, so a total of 10 seconds, I heard a big pop. And then it was like gunshots going in my leg. It's like boom, 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 boom. And I just tried to defend my leg, and it just, everything went. And I could hear it. And it was just like the most agonizing pain. But everyone's like, how does that happen? Like, your knee doesn't just explode in 10 seconds. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't. Like, there was a lot of events that happened before that. Basically, I had no LCL. I had injured it so many times. I injured it like 6 weeks before World Championships. and then I injured it again in the World Championship semifinals. And like, I don't know, like 12 times probably. So basically my knee was always doing this. And all I did was like, I'd be running or walking or after practice. It would just like, I felt like it was doing this, and I would just shift my knee to like this, and everything would sit on top. So basically what's happening is there was just too much like give in my knee. So what happened is my knee got stuck. So my tibia actually shifted out. And because I didn't have an LCL left. So when my tibia shifted out, my ligaments had nowhere else to go. So when I went to pivot and nothing crazy happened, it wasn't a dirty attack or anything, my knee just had nowhere else to go. So I popped my ACL, LCL, MCL, meniscus both sides, soleus off the bone, IT. Like there's so many things that I did. And I just remember like laying on the mat, and I was just in so much pain. And I remember the ref being like, can you get up? Can you get up? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you need to get away from me right now. I think I'm dying. Pretty sure I'm dying. So I remember like, the doctor, Dory Boyer, came up. He's like, can you stand? And I was like, oh, I don't think I can move. And my leg just felt like it was hanging there. I'm like, I didn't even want to look down. I was like, it's not attached. I don't know what I did, but it's got to be on the other side of the mat. And they took me off, and the first thing I thought when I sat in the wheelchair, and I was like, I'm an idiot. It's probably not that bad. I probably could have, like, and I remember sitting on the mat. I literally couldn't stand up by myself. And I remember thinking, oh, I should have finished that match. Like, I could have done it. And then the doctor, Dory,
you said that, and everyone's like, you were insane.
Yeah, and I just was like, how did because I was sitting in a wheelchair. There's no way I could have even like stood up. Like, there's absolutely no way. And the doctor's like, I'm just gonna do one quick test just to see one thing. And he just moved my knee, and I just felt like my tibia just shifted right up. I was like, that looks weird. And he's like, yeah, you have no ACL. I'm like, and I did not expect it. I was like, oh, it's a sprain. I overreacted. Maybe it was just adrenaline or emotion or something. And no, it was terrible. And we thought maybe, okay, ACL, not bad, maybe 8-9 months to fix. Like, and I remember he just said it, and I was just like, wow, like I was not expecting that. So yeah. What's Jimmy saying about my children? Oh, my cats. Yeah.
Getting lots of comments about your cats in the meantime.
But what I do remember, though, is, do you remember a couple days later? So if you guys don't know, Emily, you want to see the cats, Jazz? CJ, bring over the cats.
Oh, my.
So I remember a couple days later, you wheeling me with one arm because you were in a sling on the other. And we had to wheel to the medical center. And we got the letter that says everything that I did in my leg. And, Javon's happy to see the cats. This is Miko. Miko was in a cast too. He's so cute. So I was we wheeled there, and then I remember reading the MRI results over, and I was sitting there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I did, like, it was every single ligament, and I kept reading it, and we were laughing reading it. Do you remember that? We're like, no, what did I do?
So late, and we were so tired, and you were on a lot of painkillers.
Yeah, the painkillers. Look at this girl. How cute is she? She likes to be held like this, I swear.
Michelle, you're really showing your true colors of being a crazy cat mom here.
Jimmy's so jealous right now. Yeah, so I remember reading that, and and then I read it like 10 times, and you just took it from me, and you were like, that's enough.
It was, because, we kind of made light of it a little bit, but it was pretty traumatizing for you.
Oh, we laughed a lot, but I think it was the drugs.
I remember immediately you started talking about, and you immediately were like, what about like 2020? What about the Olympics?
Yeah.
It was like, it was 2 years out, but it was already on your mind.
Yeah.
Which for younger athletes, you might not like realize how at like that level you're already thinking like 4 years in advance of what's coming in 4 years, and so you never really kind of stop thinking about it. So I know that like there was like a lot of problems with like the knee surgeries that happened, and eventually you started some recovery, and you were super diligent with rehab, super diligent with everything that you needed to do, immediately getting on phones with doctors and doing everything you could. And I know there was probably some times when there was like wavering, but what overall kept you motivated in your pursuit of the Olympics despite the many struggles of that recent knee injury, despite that like massive setback?
Yeah, because I actually had the 2 surgeries, like, so the first one I was like, okay, like I can do this, it was a couple months in a wheelchair and no weight bearing at all. But I was like, it's doable. And I was just so confident with the doctors that I had found. And it wasn't easy. Like, I had to do my research. It took me seeing 5 different surgeons before I even, like, agreed on a surgeon. And everyone's like, you're crazy. Some people are like, you can't doctor shop. I'm like, it's my body. And I know, as being a senior athlete, and I would say to any athlete, like, at any age, like, your body. Don't let anyone question it. Like, listen, but I would hear some people like, yo, we're just going to fix your ACL. Your LCL is totally fine. Or your posterior cruciate angle is totally fine. And it wasn't. It was gone. But you can only see so much on an MRI. And then when I finally went to the last one and I questioned it, and they're like, well, your ACL must have been injured beforehand. I'm like, it wasn't. I'm like, but I had issues with my LCL. And it was the only doctor that was like, wait a second. Your knee was going in and out like you could feel it? I'm like, I'm telling you, it was bone that was popping in and out. And he's like, let's test it. So I did 5 hours underneath an x-ray machine with stress on my knee. And what they were saying is I actually didn't have an LCL and that the gap was really big. So they were like, if we just fix this part and not this, and that, then you're going to be back here in 5 months. So let's fix this the right way. It's a 2-year recovery. But we're confident to get you to where you need to be. The timeline was super strict. So we're like, okay, let's do it. And I had so much confidence in my team and Vicky and our strength and conditioning coaches and my coaches that I felt like I could get there. So that's what got me through. But then after 5-6 months of not being able to walk, I was like, something's wrong. Something's wrong. My knee was so swollen. I had really bad pinning edema. If you don't know what that is, it's like your knee's super swollen. You push in and you just leave like your full handprint back in your knee. And I just had so much swelling. I had gotten injections and it drained. And I was just like, I couldn't run. I couldn't walk. So that was, so I had the surgery April, May. So I had the surgery in May. By December, I still wasn't able to walk. I couldn't work out. Like, I'd go on the bike for 5 minutes and my leg would blow up. So that was getting discouraging. So I was like, I can't even cross train. I can't even get strong. My knee's still like, it was like just like fat on my leg. There was no muscle on it. So I went back in and they're like, okay, I think you need to go back under. There's something going on there. And then there was. So I got to the point where I was like, I just want to be able to walk. Like, just let me be able to go for a 10-minute walk. I was so sedentary, from being so active to being so sedentary. And then I was just getting so sad. I didn't even realize probably how sad I was. You couldn't put my shoes on. Yeah, Javon put my shoes on. I couldn't put my shoes on. So yeah, I was down about it a lot. And then I got the second surgery in February. And mind you, Olympic trials are in December, the first phase. And it put me back a lot, but I finally got it fixed. It ended up being a cyclops lesion. It happens in 4% of patients. But I had just had so much work done, so much trauma. So this lesion developed, and basically it frays at the graft site, and it stops everything from healing properly. So that's why I wasn't able to put muscle on. I wasn't able to strengthen my knee. Just the ligaments and the sites healed, but I didn't have any strength in it. Mm-hmm. So once I was able to start walking, and I think I didn't start walking until March, maybe, I'd go for like a 10-minute walk, and I felt like a different person. And then I was like, I can do this. I can make the Olympic team. I can go for a 10-minute walk without my knee swelling. So I think it was just a little, making those small goals. Like, can I tie my shoes today? Yeah, maybe. And then, I can go for a 10-minute walk. Oh, I did 10 stairs today. Like, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so setback after setback, and then you finally made to the Olympic trials and somehow came out on top despite everything that had happened to you. Like, that in itself is like ridiculously impressive. What was that experience like, and how did it feel after like pursuing that dream, the injuries that happened, and then finally getting on top at the Olympic trials?
You know what? The Olympic trials felt so different in 2016 than 2020. Like, I did not expect to feel the way I did. I was questioning going there. I didn't feel sharp at all. I know when I feel good. I know when I feel ready. And there's days that you have hard days of training, but my timing wasn't there. The quickness of my knee and the agility. I knew I had what it took to at least get through it. So that's what I had to rely on. I'm like, what I was at that point was good enough. And it may not be the best that I know I could possibly be, but it was the best possible version of myself. I had put everything into it. So I felt like kind of down because I was like, this isn't what I want to be. But I knew it was good enough. That's all I can explain. And then when I had my own teammate in the final, I was like, I love Jess. She's a good friend. So then I was like thinking, and probably too much, because I was like, oh man, like this is her this is her dream too. And like then you really, and then I kept having to be like, okay, it's okay to think that, but get back to your goal. This is sport. This is how it plays out. This is definitely a potential possibility that I knew was going to happen, right? But I even told Jess, because we were main training partners, and I was like, you know what? And I got to just a different point in my career that I'm just like, I wish you the best of luck. Like whatever happens. Let's leave it on the mat. And like, I'm not mad about if you end up winning, and I'm not mad if it's me. I just hope it's one of us. And you just hope for the best person that best day to win. And so that's kind of how I felt. I was not happy how I performed at all. Like I was very disappointed in myself, but I also have to try and be kinder to myself too. So there's that.
Very good at being kind to other people. So I would say that's definitely something that I've noticed before too, is that like you're so good at encouraging other people and then just really expect like big things of yourself. Yeah. Which maybe is also what's allowed you to go so far in your career so far. I would say throughout your career and throughout even like my career when we were training together, something that you always kind of reassured me was that you've done the training you needed to do beforehand, and now that you step on the mat, you can be like confident in that past training regardless of what the weeks leading up to it looked like. And so can you talk about what it means to just be able to like rely on your past training experience?
Yeah, like I mean, like every day you're gaining knowledge. Yeah, if you're training with like your whole heart and your whole passion, every day is a new day to be better, right? So I think that I had to base on like the foundation that I had built. Like I had worked so hard for that. So I just kept having to believe, and a lot of it, like you might think like, oh, I need to be faster, I need to hit these numbers. Like I was doing work on forced jump plates. My jumps are probably one of the lowest in the room. I'm by no means like good at that, but like, and I didn't have the power in my leg yet, but I was like sometimes so focused on the number, I'm like, oh, I need to be better. And my trainer's like, Michelle, it's not about that. It's also about the experience that you've put into the sport, and like this is going to be what helps you be successful in the end. And just believing in yourself and having that kind of open-mindedness. Like if I just sit there and I'm so hard on myself, like, oh, I'm not putting up the numbers I used to put up in the gym. I'm not getting as good practices in. That's like, no, let's focus on what you can control. And what I can control is just, like focusing on my head position. Like that doesn't take like a ton of skill. It just takes like discipline. And what did I train? I trained stance for so many years, right? Like I've been in the sport for, 16 years. So I have to rely on that. I have to rely on the feel that I have from just past experience. But
and I think that's so true. I think that's so true too, to how like any athlete in any circumstance, whatever setback they have, you can kind of focus on the things you can control, and that's what's going to allow you to kind of endure through that setback and endure through.
And Jasmine just asked about, are you happy with the Olympic delay in 2021? And that just speaks on that, right? Like I don't control when the Olympics happen. We think they're going to happen in 2020, and Olympics have like look at the history of the Olympics. 99% of the time they happen on time, and no one thought like a postponement would happen. But it is what it is. And I wasn't like, I can't say that I was overly emotional about the delay. I can tell you that I felt really anxious about COVID-19 coming in. As soon as we flew in from Ottawa, the next day we were hearing that like everything shut down. And then I'm like, oh, but this tournament for qualifying for Olympics, my last shot, is still happening. So I'm like, how am I going to train? And I'm thinking like, we don't know all the knowledge yet. So I was like, how am I going to train for this? But in terms of my injury, like if it's postponement, yeah, it's like, I mean, you don't want it to be postponed because of people's health and health concerns. But if I were to take like kind of the light of the situation, I have more time to prepare and to get stronger. I wish I could actually be on the mats right now because that's what I need. But again, I can't control that. So I'm just focusing on, okay, I have a stationary bike at home. I live in like my place isn't big, so it's not like I have a gym in here or anything. It's like, okay, you make the best of it. I was like, oh, I'll go to the park. Well, the park's closed too. Cool. So I'll just hit the parking lot up. The parking lot's getting under construction. I'm like, okay, I'll find a sidewalk somewhere and get in a workout or whatever, a piece of grass somewhere here. But you just make the best of it. And that's what I really think the people that become successful in life, no matter what hand they're dealt with, they find the best opportunities out of it.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of briefly touched on this, but especially for some of our younger athletes, can you kind of describe some of the things that you've been doing to stay in shape, stay active, keep training, even like maybe some wrestling specific stuff that you're doing right now?
So you just said donuts. No, I'm not. So I'm a routine person. I'm a person that, okay, if I'm going to train at whatever time, I wake up the same time every day. I go to the bed pretty much the same time every day. So when that hit, and it was right after a big competition anyways, like our qualifier, the first week or two, I was just like kind of relaxing. I did still work out, but I didn't set a schedule. Now my schedule is I wake up and I usually do one of my workouts. So I try to do most days 2 times still. So I'll do like a strength conditioning workout, and it's all body weight because I don't have any weights here. Like I've got a few dumbbells, but not much. So our trainer, Vicky Bendis, she puts that together for us. And at night I have bike rides. So if it's not too bad, I'll combine the 2 of them together. But if it's like an hour bike ride and an hour weights, I just separate them. Just get a break.
Can you talk about how important like mental training has been for you, and maybe things that people can do right now to be getting ready to get back on the mats at some point?
Yeah, I think a big part of like the mental training for me was just visualizing myself in situations. Just even like being at a competition site, like I always go and check it out beforehand. So right now, like this morning, and you don't have to do a ton every day. I find if I do a ton every day, it's kind of pointless. So, I only watched like 3 matches today. And that was enough for me. One of them was only 2 minutes, but just I always listen to them with sound on, and it sounds silly, but it's hearing the whistles, the name calls, things like that. And it just like, it gets my heart kind of going. It's not even my own matches. I watched, who did I watch today? I watched Dake wrestle today. So I was just looking at his body positioning because I felt like at Pan Am qualifiers, like my stance was not great. So who has a good stance? Dake does. So I just watched him and saw how he moved a bit. And, I know he keeps his head low, but just to see it and hear the whistles going, and just like in the competition venue, right? It just is one way I keep my mind going. Another one that I just do, and I may just do it like even once a week, is breathing exercises, because I find if I do this 6-second breath, and it's just like in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then out for 6, and I just do that just once a week. It just helps me remember that. So when I go back to competition day and I'm nervous, or if it's even at a training camp, I go back to that, and because I've practiced it so many times, it works to calm myself down.
Yeah, that's such good advice, and things that people really can do wherever they are, and regardless of what kind of environment they have.
Most things I don't do it with equipment, because I need to be able to do it anywhere in the world. So any tool that I've had, like say if I've talked to a sports psych or anything, I try and have tools that I can do anywhere. Like I don't have to rely on something. Yeah,
so key for that. Somebody asked, do you think you're more lighthearted about making a second Olympic team than the first, or is like the pressure lower or higher?
I'd say that after going to the Olympics, it's a great experience, and I had so much fun. But you also realize, you're like, yeah, it's the dream. And I didn't hit my dream at the Olympics either. But you also realize that it's not the best thing that you're going to do in your life, and it's not the only good thing that you're going to do in your life, and that life goes on whether you go to the Olympics or not. So I think your perspective does change. It has to change. It's a life experience. Every life experience changes you in some way, shape, or form, right? So it does, but there's a different side to it now, right? It's I don't want to go through this whole process and fail either. Like there's that fear of failure that's always there. but you can use it and shed some light on that. Like being the fear of failure, having fear there doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, right? So I just think that what motivates me now is just to be better than the person I was yesterday, better than the person I was 4 years ago. So yeah, it is different. I wouldn't say it sheds light on it. Like it's a hard goal to attain and achieve, and that's what makes it so awesome. But it's just different. It's very different.
Yeah. So in addition to many senior level events being canceled, a lot of younger athletes have had their nationals canceled too. And some of them are struggling with it being maybe their last year as a cadet or juvenile or their last year in high school. What advice can you give to those athletes?
Again, like, man, it's a tough time to be, especially if you're last year, it's like your last nationals, or like your prom, a graduation. Like there's a lot going on there. But again, like you really can't control what's going on. Like this is so much bigger than wrestling, what's happening right now. This is a global pandemic. Like it doesn't matter that you didn't go to your national championships, because guess what? Nobody in the world is going to national championships right now. It doesn't define you as a person. Like what you should be doing right now is focusing on like, okay, what are you doing right now? Like you can be bummed out about it, but do something to change how you feel. Like go for that run, or go pick up a different hobby. Go like kick a ball around. Like how many times do wrestlers specifically, I'm just talking about wrestlers because we have a season that never ends. When's the last time you were able to kick around a soccer ball? Like a hacky sack, anything. Just do something different, and it stimulates you in a different way. Like it's going to help you with wrestling. Yeah. So my biggest thing is take this time and really like either video analysis, look at a different sport. I know that you can't play with your friends or hang out with your friends, but you don't need to. Like you can just go, like safe parking lot, but go do something different. Stimulate yourself.
I think you've given us some really awesome examples of how.
Open your cat. Oh, can you pass me Callie?
I think you've given some really awesome examples of how to overcome.
Can you take CJ down? CJ, can I take you down?
Yeah, probably.
CJ, I was like, speaking of like takedowns, because like we were looking at everything to like maybe I'll just quarantine at my parents' house getting a mat, but everything's hard to get right now. So there's like a bit of an open field, and CJ will be wrestling, but like, so he helped me train before qualifiers because there was very few people I didn't want to ruin someone else's practicing for going for qualifiers. I brought CJ in, and he was so awesome to come and help me, because I had to be so careful with my knee. I can't go to an opponent and be like, hey, by the way, you're getting ready for qualifiers too. Can you just take it easy on this knee? So he came in and helped me a lot. So I think we'll start kind of hand fighting in the parking lot that's getting redone.
Just do it whenever you can.
Yeah, and, like Clayton right now, he's cycling. Like that's good. Like that's awesome. Like all our national team like athletes, like as a younger people, like they're afraid of what do I do next? This is canceled. But like you just heard, like Clayton cycling. I know Erica's cycling. I got a stationary bike. I don't even have room in my place for a bike, like a real bike. So I'm just sitting on my balcony. If it's a nice day out, just stationary bike. Just make the best of it.
I love it. And that's really been your attitude of any setback, any obstacle that comes your way. You just make the best of it, change your perspective, and do what you got to do to control what you can. Yeah. Thanks for all that advice that you've given, Michelle. It's been like really awesome to have you on. We're going to end off with a couple of rapid fire questions. If anyone has any questions for Michelle, now is the time to post them. We've got one already. What's your favorite wrestling memory?
OFSA and Hawaii. OFSA because it was just so much fun because it's OFSA. And Hawaii, our team building trip, Jasmine. I really liked that trip.
That was a great trip.
It was great.
That was one where I was a training partner. I agree. It's nice being a training partner sometimes because you get the experience of the training without the pressure.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, so on OAWA Wrestling, we're going to be rolling out a this or that kind of questionnaire for people to fill out just for fun. So I'm going to go through it with you here. Do you prefer red or blue?
Blue. But hey, I make it, if I'm red, then that's a winning color. I'm red.
Do you prefer to win by a tech or win by a pin?
Oh, tech.
Do you prefer early morning practice or afternoon practices?
Early morning.
Technique practices or scrimmage practices?
Both, but more scrimmage.
Single legs or double legs?
Single. I can never get a double.
Treadmill or elliptical?
Now? I'd say treadmill, but it's probably more the elliptical.
2-on-1s or underhooks?
2-on-1s. Underhooks.
Gut wrench or cross ankle?
Gut wrench.
And a leg attack or throw?
Do you want to give away all my stuff? No, just kidding. No one knows I throw. I don't throw. We know this. Come on.
I don't know about you. I've ever thrown, but you have a sweet leg ankle pick there, though. A couple of questions. Oh, I don't know if you can answer this one. Nico or Callie?
Both. Come on, Jimmy. Come on. Don't ask me that question. That was Jimmy. CJ's laughing in the back. You gotta answer the question. I don't pick for my children. Fur babies.
What's your favorite post weigh-in snack?
Like chicken parm? Can I count? Is that a snack? That's a snack, right?
Okay, quick story here. When we were in Australia and it's a buffet, every single day Michelle would try to find the components of chicken parm to make for dinner.
Yeah, I did.
Pretty impressive what you were able to make it with.
Go 62 kilos. 15 kilos, I couldn't do that.
What's your favorite place to travel?
You're like Mediterranean, like France, Italy, Spain, those kind of. Greece is in there too, yeah. Europe. Let's just say Europe. I love Europe.
And last one, not last one. Javon wants to know if you recently got your hair done.
Okay, so he tried. Let me just tell you. He messaged me. He's like, "You did your hair." Of course, I did my hair. If I don't do it, because look at this. This was pulled out. Where is Joey on here? If Joey's not out, you guys can call him out because look at this. It's been pulled out from wrestling. So if I don't do it, it sticks up. So I have to do it now.
And what? Yes, and Michelle is definitely a true Italian with her food choices and traveling. I think
Mullet, it is a mullet if I don't do it, Jimmy.
Ooh, favorite country to wrestle against?
Don't have one. Don't even care what country they're from, Jasmine. Don't care.
So tough. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you so much, Michelle, for joining us. Oh my God.
CJ, you're being asked. Hang on, CJ's being asked. CJ, you have to come over here. People are asking for you. It's just your phone.
my interview.
Hurry up. They're wrapping it up.
But it's not. I'm not the one being interviewed. Why am I?
Maybe if the person asking didn't leave us, you'd see him all the time.
CJ!
What's
Kathy,
going on,
Kayla.
Emily?
Well,
CJ,
Clayton.
yes, Jimmy.
I did this, Clayton. Oh, Tyler.
Oh, Custer's on.
Thanks,
Jimmy,
Jimmy.
yeah. What's going on, Emily? How are you doing?
We're doing all right.
CJ doesn't have Instagram. They just doesn't know how it works. It's just full-on conversation. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
How
I'm
did
not
you
one for social communication.
Well, we are going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure to tune in next week for our Tuesday interviews. We'll announce the guest hopefully sometime this week. And yeah, that's all. Again, I'm Emily from the Hamilton Wrestling Club, and this is Michelle Fazzari, our 2016 Olympian, hopefully our 2021 Olympian from the Brock Badgers. Thanks, Michelle.
Bye, guys.
See you
Thanks for
later.
joining.
Bye.